Tim Kirby Russia hot takes. The military-industrial complex is thrilled that Kiev is being armed to the teeth. Well, at least in theory. Okay, so you may have seen in the news that over the last few months, the Americans, Germans, even little places like Cyprus have been sending weapons upon weapons to the Ukraine to, in theory, be used to fight the Russians. But the thing is, on the surface, this sounds like it would be making a huge difference, a massive change in the war. And it is making some difference, but there are a lot of nuances that escape the brilliant minds of the people in Congress who want to send billions of U.S. tax dollars worth of weapons to a lost cause. So the first question is, can Kiev's forces fighting way out in the east in the Donbass and that are currently surrounded, can they actually get those weapons? Well, according to certain mainstream media sources, they actually can't and aren't, because the Russians have been destroying all their railroads, especially north of Odessa, sort of almost carving the infrastructure of Ukraine into the shape of the piece of Ukraine that they want to take, that sort of wraps around into the area of Malorossia, right? All the bridges along the Dnieper have been destroyed. So it's kind of almost like that video game Death Stranding, where you have this mission to get a lot of things from point A to a very, very far point B over absolutely broken and destroyed terrain. And unfortunately, the Ukrainians can't just magically conjure bridges and roads like you can in that video game, so yeah, a lot of the weapons are getting stuck at their delivery point. And we can't forget that the Russians have been very good about determining where those weapons are being sent to and blowing them up right at their depot point. And another thing is that certain complex weapon systems require complex training. So the question is, how much of a standing army does Kiev have left that's not trapped in a cauldron around the Donbass? You know, the guys who are actually professional soldiers, who have the brains, the talent, and the will to learn how to use complex technical systems. The answer to that would be, it seems like not a whole lot. And can a lot of grunts, be they older guys or teenagers, or especially guys who aren't really motivated to fight, learn how to use complex, new, different systems very quickly and very efficiently? Probably not. So you may be thinking that, Tim, this is a terrible idea by Washington. Look at them. They're wasting all of our resources. Well, they're wasting our taxpayer dollars on the one hand. But the one thing they are doing is they're doing a very good job of uniting NATO. Because what this is forcing certain NATO countries, like say Poland or Bulgaria, Romania, to do is to get rid of all their old Soviet surplus. All the old junk can be sent to Ukraine. So that way, these countries can be more fully integrated into NATO with new platforms that come from the West, you know, from American, English, and so on, arms manufacturers. So essentially, it is getting rid of the Soviet legacy of all the NATO countries and bringing them into a sort of monopolar order when it comes to their weapon systems. And of course, one thing that we all know is that the military-industrial complex loves a new order, and the politicians who support it, and lobbyists as well, they love to get those big government orders. And when countries have really gotten rid of all their old reserve weapons, that means it's an excuse to order billions and billions of dollars of new weapons. So about this whole arming Kiev thing. Number one, it's not really even clear if the weapons are getting there or if the soldiers can even use them when they do. It is uniting NATO because getting rid of all the old junk and forcing all these countries in the EU to get on new modern Western platforms. And three, it is a corruption bonanza. Everyone in Washington and in Brussels should be drinking champagne right now because many of them are going to be able to skim off the top of quite a lovely pot of cream. So anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video and you like the opinions coming out of my big fat mouth, then join up on my Telegram channel. That's Tim Kirby Hardcore on Telegram. Link, of course, in the description.